Oh my god, it's everyone's favorite licensed game, the Simpsons Skateboarding! A 38 on Metacritic, a 3.7 on IMDb, and of the 19 contemporary reviews that are listed on this game's Wikipedia, only one of them seems to directly indicate that the reviewer had more fun with the game than not. But does the game truly deserve this reputation? Well, before I get into the real nitty-gritty stuff, if you're watching this and happen to actually really like the Simpsons Skateboarding, then I think you can still very much agree with me that the game gives off very bad first impressions. Even before you get to the game itself, the title card for the game's developers has some 3D animation stuff that I'd argue is at least charmingly a bit awful. But then the company's logo hits, and it looks like a kid could have made it in Microsoft PowerPoint in 5 minutes. Then of course you have the notorious grainy intro cinematic. The game's called The Simpsons Skateboarding, and this intro only showcases 2 of the members of the Simpson family. Then it showcases Krusty, Otto, and Nelson, who aren't even unlocked at the start of the game. This is way down the bottom of the list of the game's issues, but again, it's another fairly peculiar first impression to leave. Oh god. Ooh. Yeah, I'll just say it now. This game's loading times are pretty fucked. Why does Homer look like he had to have his head surgically reattached to his neck? Also, if you choose him at the character selection screen, he'll start picking at his ass every time. And you may be aware already that at this selection screen, you can't look at a character's individual stats until after you select them. And then to look at a different character's stats, you have to go back and pick the different character. So that is a little bit of a pain. But in hindsight, when you're first playing this game, you're gonna suck piss no matter who you pick, so the stats are kind of arbitrary at that point. Now this game has 10 levels in total, and it doesn't take too much to unlock all levels. You just have to go into the first 9 levels and beat the first 2 objectives in Skatefest mode. Then of course there's Skills Score mode, where the objective is to land tricks and or combos, and you earn money that you can use to improve your character's stats. Of course, people constantly point out that you complete objectives in this game and you just get measly like 10 cents for your effort. But each additional stat point only costs 5 cents. So yes, it's funny to think that you're doing all of this for a measly total sum of $100. But if the rewards were listed as just stat points rather than cash, then no one would really bat an eye. If one of your main arguments against this game is, oh, you're doing all of this just for 10 bloody cents, then you're basically just looking for an excuse to shit on the game instead of actually giving it a proper chance, like I did. So here's how you really should play the campaign. Go to Skills Score, complete the objectives, use the money that you've earned to upgrade your character's stats, go into Skatefest, complete the first 2 objectives to unlock the next map, go to Skills Score on the next map, complete those objectives, upgrade your stats, go into Skatefest, complete the first 2 objectives, go to the next map, complete Skills School in that map, etc. By the time you get stuck on an objective in either Skills School or Skatefest, then you can go back to the earlier levels, now that you have improved character stats and just overall improved handling of the game, and you complete those earlier objectives, which will often also give you more cash to upgrade your character. And the game doesn't even directly instruct you on how to do manuals until 3 levels in. So the objectives in each level where you have to get a certain score in a certain amount of time are much best saved for later. Unfortunately, I'm only able to give this advice with the benefit of hindsight, because like most people who played this for the first time, I went straight into Skatefest, tried to complete everything at once, and suffered. What's more, I played as Lisa the first time because I thought that her base stats looked pretty good. Unfortunately, her voice clips half of the time are just her going like... Speaking of annoying voice lines, there's an option in the game to turn off commentary, and I would highly recommend doing that. Otherwise, you're going to get sick of Ken Brockman's voice real quickly. It's really bad in objectives that require you to grind a really long distance to complete them, because that ends up sounding like this if you have the commentary on.
Nose grind. Nose grind. Nose grind. Nose grind. Nose grind. Nose grind. Nose grind.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Whilst I don't think the characters aside from Lisa get too annoying voice line wise, and the soundtrack is solid enough, it's certainly a long way away from being hit and run levels of iconic. So if you play this game on mute, then it probably won't change your experience all that much. Now, the Simpsons Skateboarding came out the same year as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, where the soundtrack slaps harder than Will Smith, and whose riders feel nowhere near as sluggish to control before you upgrade any of their stats. So if you view the Simpsons Skateboarding as simply another potential competitor to the Tony Hawk series, or another game attempting to reinvent the whole skateboarding game formula, then yeah, it is more or less an overall failure. But if you have the patience to gradually get a feel for the game mechanics, improve your character's stats, and figure out the ideal way to complete each of the game's objectives by trial and error, then soon enough you'll realize that most of your gripes with the gameplay have more or less melted away. And that's quite a nice feeling, I tell you what.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
Granted, it doesn't excuse how clunky the game feels when you're starting out on it, but if you're calling this one of the worst games ever made after being unable to get out of Springfield Elementary, then you're basically on the same level as that journalist that couldn't beat the Cuphead tutorial. Except I don't think that guy actually disliked Cuphead because of it, so I guess it turns out you actually have even less integrity than he does. But enough being on the defensive, let's finally get into the criticisms of the Simpsons Skateboarding that actually matter. Firstly, this game's overall responsiveness to button inputs is noticeably below what you would expect for this sort of gameplay. This especially becomes a problem when you're going for the more complex grabs that involve spinning the analog stick. And you have to pull off plenty of these amongst some pretty technical combos to complete later skills school challenges. Sometimes I'd fail even getting to the boneless part of the combo because I pushed the buttons to do a shove at 360 and the game just didn't recognize those inputs at all. Plus, this combo here starts with a shove at 360, which means having to push the ollie button and then instantly push the shove at 360 buttons. Because if I don't push the flip trick buttons instantly, it's counted as a late shove at 360, and that invalidates the combo, even though it looks pretty much the exact fucking same as doing a regular shove at 360. Why are you penalizing me for not being a tenth of a second faster? And then there's this combo challenge, where the grabs involved require you to do a full semicircle spin with the left stick, rather than just a quarter. I had to put so much focus in just to get the pissing grabs to work and pull off the required body spins and flips on top of that. Only for my effort to be undone at the last hurdle because I landed in a manual, but it was a nose manual, and the game asked for specifically a regular manual at the end of that. So hey, you may have picked the more impressive option of the two at the end there, but we're not going to give you that combo anyway because
I'm autistic!
But if there's one aspect of this game that almost single-handedly validates this game's poor reputation, then it's this. You know in the Tony Hawk games, how you can push the left stick forward while jumping to go over the top of a pipe or get out of a bowl instead of just going straight up in the air? Well, that mechanic is very much present in the Simpsons Skateboarding. And remember how I was saying that this game's very unresponsive when it comes to the button inputs that you're trying to do? Well, the over and out jump is the one thing in this game that's too responsive. Oh, you need to start off this combo with a grab that involves pushing the stick up first, but you were a tenth of a second too early? Sorry mate, you're kissing the wall. Oh, you were pushing the stick forward on the ground to make sure that you get enough speed to generate enough height to pull off this super technical flip spin combo? Upsy daisy, haha. Oh, you're in the midst of a super high combo that's going to win you the trick contest, but the game woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? Sorry buddy, your combo's been voided. Go and eat your own fucking ass. With all that being said, I feel like the only fundamentally flawed missions in this game are the ones where you have to chase a person or an animal into a certain area. Especially the itchy and scratchy one, because if you approach them too fast, then they don't run straight. But if you don't approach them fast enough, then you're going to roll backwards because they're on an incline. Stop running sideways, Itchy, you dickhead! Even amongst all of the pain and the frustration, it actually felt fulfilling to figure out how to complete the goals in this game and achieve said goals. So if I not only got a decent amount of enjoyment out of the game, but also maintained the will to go on to beat the entire game, then I guess it couldn't have been all that bad. Certainly nowhere near as bad as I was fearing. And if you do also have the tenacity to go ahead and beat the Simpsons Skateboarding, then once you've done that, go pick one of the other characters and start doing the earlier missions as them. It genuinely feels kind of fucking amazing just to go back and absolutely smurf these earlier missions with the accumulated experience that I have. Of course, in order to reach that point, you have to bust your ass to beat the game for the first time. So whether that's worth doing in order to make the game a bit more blissful is up to you. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to defend the Simpsons Skateboarding, and I certainly wouldn't act like people are stupid or wrong to criticize it, but I actually do have a bit of a soft spot for it now. If this game didn't have Electronic Arts or the juggernaut franchise that is The Simpsons attached to it, then I swear most people would just consider this game to be average at worst. Instead of carrying on like playing this game as akin to playing Ride to Hell Retribution or something. If this game just isn't for you, then that's fair. But if you're unable to complete even the basic objectives in this game, then that's a you problem, mate. If I'm capable of beating the game in its entirety, then you're capable of getting out of Springfield Elementary at least. So either just shut up or get fucking good. But yeah, don't play as Lisa, she sucks. I don't think she even jumps as high as the other characters. And the outfit that you unlock when you beat the entire game is her, it's just a shirt and pants. Like, Homer's 100% completion costume's far more memorable. Why couldn't Lisa's have been the Florida costume or something? Also, why does Professor Frink look like a butternut squash? And why does Hans Mole Man look 6 feet tall? In summary, I think that The Simpsons Skateboarding might genuinely be a good game as long as you're willing to make it work. And for the most part, I have made it work. I still personally have a lot of hatred towards the game, but I certainly have more love for it than I do hate. If you happen to be thinking about playing Simpsons Skateboarding for yourself, then I say go ahead. Just be aware that you may end up having to embrace the jank a bit in order to have fun. Let me know if you have thoughts about anything in the game that I didn't cover in this video, or if you happen to have actually enjoyed the game as well. I hope that you enjoyed this video at least. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.